welcome back to GTD. It is NFL time. We already talked about college football. If you want to hear us argue about a bracket for probably about 15 minutes, I don't know how long we did, but it's on YouTube. But this is NFL time. A lot of good games this past week. And since I'm a Chargers fan, I want to start with the depression.
The doink for the division.
Yes, as it was called, the doink for the division.
Yeah.
And please, can we have Lad McConkey back from the injury list? Please, 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 please.
Yeah, because without him, y'all can't score a TD. And
No.
it's getting to be an issue.
The best receiver for us was Stone Smart.
Yeah.
By play. Yeah. And if you don't know who Stone Smart is, I
You're
do not
normal-
blame you at all.
You're a normal NFL fan.
Yeah.
If you do know who he is, you're a sad Chargers fan right now.
Yeah, seek help, because you're like me. Seek help if you know who Stone Smart is.
Yeah, but the Chiefs, clinched the division with the win over the Chargers last night in a game that was, well...
It was a game.
Yeah.
One of the games of all time.
Offenses really didn't do anything till the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I think Herbert played well. Just the interior pressure. Trey Pipkins needs to be sent to a farm upstate at some point, because the Chiefs are getting through. I know Chris Jones is so good, but every team we play, every single snap, it feels like there's pressure up the middle because Trey Pipkins has blown his block again.
I mean, it was the same with the game for the Chiefs. Mahomes was getting beat up back there last night. The Chargers defense showed out.
I saw a meme, and it said, if you put the Chiefs and the Chargers offensive lines together, there would be a giant, magical interlocking sound with the Chargers' 2 tackles and the Chiefs' interior, and I totally agree with that. I think the Chiefs have the best interior offensive line in the NFL, and the Chargers might have the best tackle duo already.
Yeah. But so that game ended Chiefs still only with the 1 loss. Lions-Packers was the most anticipated game for this week, I think you can say. It was a primetime game for not to clinch that division, but still the top 2 teams atop that division, atop the NFC as a whole.
People often forget the Vikings exist.
That is true. I mean, the Vikings are in the hunt for that division. I know they kind of slowed down for a little bit, but they're still...
Not this week. We'll talk about that in a minute.
They're still there. But the Lions did beat the Packers in a back-and-forth, flippy-floppy game. Dan Campbell with the call.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he
I feel like we say that every week.
He necessarily didn't need to make the call, but he did, and it secured the game. Because
the old Kenny Dillingham.
Right. If you kick a field goal there, you do give Jordan Love a chance.
Yeah.
Right?
You play to win the game. I love it.
Yeah, I love it as well. That's like going for 2 instead of going to overtime.
Yeah. One thing I will say in this game that I was impressed with, how about Christian Watson deciding to finally catch the ball?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been why the Packers have slowed down. The receiving core and Jordan Love maybe not on the same page, haven't been able to pass the ball as much recently, kind of up and down with Jordan Love this year.
He did fumble, though, so Christian Watson did fumble. The hands are still a concern. But he was such a highly touted deep threat out of North Dakota State, and just it hasn't quite been there. So to see a performance like this, I think is at least encouraging. Tucker Kraft is still a really good player, and obviously this team, I think right now, a lot of people say it goes as Jordan Love goes. I think it goes as Josh Jacobs goes recently. Yeah. Josh Jacobs is really kind of the heartbeat of this offense, where maybe if Jordan Love is on one of his schizophrenic times where he's just lobbing it to DBs for about a quarter. You can
Old school football is back.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Love seeing all those guys play at the level that we know they can play it, and they're finally getting that chance.
How about Alabama running backs? I know Barkley's Penn State. But
but the Henry and Jacobs, I mean, representing. But also, Mr. Buffalo Bills man, Josh Allen, scored 6 touchdowns by himself.
He just is the Bills.
Yeah, put the Bills on his back and said, I got y'all. 3 passing, 3 rushing.
Unfortunately, he did not got them, though.
And they lost.
Well, he got them. The defense did not got them. The defense.
He scored 42 points. The defense allowed 44 points, which if you do the math correctly, that's 2 more points than the Bills, which means the Rams win.
Math.
Yeah, but
it's an
Josh Allen,
educational
I don't know,
podcast.
congratulations to Josh Allen. He's getting engaged to Haley Steinfeld. Sorry, Micah, Allen's taken.
I know.
So
day ruined.
Yeah, you gotta work at that out somehow.
Also, speaking of day ruined, Josh Allen broke the record for fantasy points by QB, and then Justin Jefferson went for 35. I have both of those players on my fantasy team.
Did you lose? No way you lost.
I lost.
Oh, you were just like the Bills this week. Doing all that exciting stuff and still lose.
The rest of my fantasy team combined, outside of those 2 guys, put up 13 points.
Wow. I'm out of the playoffs in my league, so I
am too.
I have Christian McCaffrey in my starting running back slot and Kenneth Walker in my starting running back slot because I don't care anymore. I also got Brown from the Cincinnati Bengals just so someone else couldn't have him, and he's on my bench. But I won because Josh Allen.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I won.
I have Breece Hall, Marvin Harrison Jr., some other guys that don't play well. I had to pick up Nick Westbrook-Akine, and then he proceeded to not catch a touchdown, which he almost always does. But anyway, back to the actual on-field NFL stuff. We mentioned the Vikings a bit earlier. Yes. Let's talk about their game versus the Falcons. And did you see the clip from this game where Justin Jefferson's just running down the field with his arm up, like, give me the ball, and the Falcons DB goes, oh no, and just falls over.
Yeah.
That encapsulates the Falcons defense right now, because holy cow, are they bad. Yeah, if only you had a top 10 pick where you could have taken an edge rusher instead of a quarterback.
And I mean, this team's kind of doing what they do every year, giving the fan, they're like the new Saints, giving the fans hope, and then just going, you're funny, and then just,
Well, they've taken the art of the Falcons choke from within a game to the entire season.
To their entire franchise.
It's really impressive.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we accomplished that in one half of football. What if we did that for an entire season of football? And genius.
Yeah,
we'll start on draft day. Get this.
Yeah.
We'll draft a quarterback after signing Kirko.
And then Kirk Cousins is like, fine, you're going to draft a quarterback? I'm not going to play after October.
Yeah. But yeah, so playoffs are heating up. There's a few teams kind of on the fence there. Dolphins play the Texans this week. Dolphins really need to win.
What's going on with the Texans too? I know the offensive line is terrible, but it feels like there's sophomore slump for C.J. Stroud as well on that side.
I don't know so much as a sophomore slump. He's not doing terrible.
He's regressed,
but
he's
he's turned the ball over.
Is a big part of it. But.
The interception number for C.J. Stroud is concerning a little bit. He's got 9 compared to his 15 touchdowns, so that's not great. That's definitely not what you want to see. He's young. He'll work that out.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins need a win this week. Texans can't really take a loss at this point, so this is going to be a good battle for them.
The good thing for them is they have tiebreaker over Indianapolis, and they're still ahead of them by 2 games. So I think they're okay for now. AFC wildcard is a little bit interesting. Ravens, Chargers, Broncos all sit at 8-5. Colts and Dolphins are still in it at 6-7. Bengals are pretty much dead at 4-8, and everyone else is eliminated. So I think the 3 wildcard teams you have right now are the ones that make it, assuming the Chargers can resurrect the offense somehow. I think that's the only team that could really fall out here because the Broncos are playing well. But then on the NFC side, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah. I mean, just absolute bloodbath. We kind of expected that going into this year, that the NFC would be I thought they'd be stronger than the AFC. I know I was kind of on the outside looking in there. But another big matchup this week, the Bills play the Lions.
Yeah.
So if the Bills defense can figure out how to play defense, that should be a fun one.
Josh Allen's going to go for 3,000 yards and lose.
Yeah, Josh Allen is the Mike Trout of the NFL now. That's where we are. But that'll be a fun game anyways. Lions 12-1. First time I think ever in their franchise, I'm pretty sure. If it's not the first time, it's the first time since the 50s. But I'm fairly certain it's the first time ever in that franchise. The only team that has the same record as them is the Chiefs, also 12-1. But one day the Chiefs' luck will run out. I don't know when that'll be. But one day, that doink is going to be on the other side of the goalpost, about that far left.
This is the only time in franchise history the Lions have started 12-1.
Yeah, so there you go, Dan Campbell. Which, I mean, by the way, Lions fans wanted him gone after year 1. Half the
I feel like
it wasn't like it was probably about 40-60 wanted him to 60% wanted him to stay, but there were some loud fans going like, but that's any fan base. That's going to happen when you have like that. But base. My, are they glad they kept that man?
Yeah.
Because he's beautiful. I love the way he coaches. I love everything about this team. I love how he tells his defense to play, about biting kneecaps off. I love how he tells his running backs to play. I love how he just play calls, like going for it instead of kicking the field goal. And I mean, yeah.
That's who Keegan's going to be sad when he gets married. He's talking about me with Josh Allen.
I'm pretty sure he's got like grandkids. I don't know about grandkids.
I have no idea.
Pretty sure he's got a family.
I have no idea.
But yeah, we'll yeah. Well, I'll work that one out myself. But what else do we have for the NFL?
I don't think we have much else.
Who's your MVP right now? How about that?
Ooh. It's Josh Allen, especially after the
I was about to say, after yesterday, Josh Allen, I could see Saquon Barkley just because I feel like more of the Eagles' wins have come from, I don't know, I'm pretty sure all the
I feel
Bills
like
wins have
those two players, though, encapsulate team's most valuable player.
Yep.
Like, without Saquon, without Josh Allen, those two teams are nowhere near where they are right now.
Yeah, I'm giving the edge to Josh Allen right now as well. Who's your Super Bowl matchup right now?
Super Bowl matchup? Give me... I know it's going to be kind of boring, but honestly, Bills and Lions right now, just because the Lions have found a way to win these close games.
Do you trust the Bills right now in the playoff scenario when they have to play the Ravens?
I don't trust the
Steelers,
Bills.
Chiefs?
I trust Josh Allen.
That's fair. I like that. That's my hope. I think Lions Bills would be the best to watch because that would just be a fun, exciting game.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a boring pick, but I don't see the Eagles beating the Lions. I don't see the Vikings or Packers doing it. And then on the AFC side, I think the Bills can beat anyone except maybe the Chiefs, and we just never know what's going to happen with that. So
yeah, I think the Eagles have the best shot in the NFC apart from the Lions right now.
Here's my
but I'm
question
going
for
Bears
you,
Lions.
because I know who mine is, but who is your offensive rookie of the year?
Offensive rookie of the year. Who's yours? Let me see
Brock
who yours
Bowers.
is. Oh, I think it's got to be Bowers too.
Yeah, I was about to say it. I don't want to hear anything about a quarterback. It's Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix was in the conversation for a week or two.
Brock Bowers is fourth in the NFL in receiving.
Yeah,
yards.
I think the numbers
in the NFL,
the
not
numbers that
by
guy's
tight
putting
ends
out.
overall on the Raiders.
I've watched Brock Bowers play in person, and it is special to watch.
Yes.
I mean, the route, the way he runs routes, the way he does everything.
The Auburn-Georgia game last year, where Auburn
fun to
decided they
watch.
didn't want to cover him for the entirety of the second half. Odd decision. Did not work out well.
Yeah, it's almost like they would have won if he was off the field, which he was in the first half, and they were winning. And then they were like, well, we didn't scheme for that guy, so
we didn't
just,
account for this
we're
tight
just,
end thing.
We're just not going to worry about him and hope for the best. Yeah. Well, that's what the fourth overall receiving yards will get you, a loss, especially in college football, because he was just that
he is
echelon
so
of
good.
elite. But yeah, that's all we have for NFL. Check out our college football, like Mike I said at the top of the show. F1 season's over. Check that episode out where we cry about how the season's over and we have to wait. I don't know, what is it, 400 days or something like that?
No
Not
cars
actually.
on wheels
It's
for a very long
few
time.
months. Yeah, NASCAR and F1 are both gone. Juan Soto, stuff like that about our socials. Go check that out. But until then, we will see you next week.